petty to be angry that Trudeau revoked the Emergencies Act during the drive home from the library where I was researching it. Oh, well, I guess I can still talk about all the reasons why he wasn't wrong to revoke it in the first place, or why it wasn't a dictatorship, and various reasons he may have revoked it now. So, first of all, using the Emergencies Act is not an act of dictatorship. The Emergencies Act replaced the far more authoritarian War Measures Act. With the Emergencies Act, the Charter and the Supreme Court remain sovereign throughout. Parliament has to meet within 7 days to vote either to pass it on to the Senate or to not pass it, at which point it would be revoked automatically. The act comes with an expiration date of 30 days without Parliament reconvening to extend it, which is moot now. The Senate also has to vote on it, which I've seen some people claim that Trudeau revoked it because the Senate was going to reject it, which, considering that the Senate is unelected, would be really bad optics, and the Senate's actual history is basically a rubber stamp. I mean, the closest I could find to a rejection was 2018 when it sent a bill back to the House of Commons a whopping 2 times with changes to the text of the bill, and even then it was really close, 43 to 39. And in 2006, another bill was sent back twice. So looking at the Senate's historical record, it's pretty unlikely they were going to reject it. I'm pretty sure this has more to do with Doug Ford announcing the end of Ontario's state of emergency, which I said in my last video was part of the reason that the acts were invoked in the first place. But, and not to mention that the RCMP has started unfreezing some bank accounts, which I guess means the investigation into foreign funding of this illegal insurrection is wrapping up. I hope so. Speaking of bank accounts, there's absolutely no evidence that Brianne bringing from Chilliwack exists. So, Mark Starr, I applaud you for having all the imagination of a 5-year-old, but even if you're interested in protecting her identity, what other MP rights do you offering help and you still refuse to confirm anything? You are either making it difficult for a woman to fix a bad situation, you don't trust the people you're supposed to work with, or you're full of shit. My knees on the third one. Not to mention that the people doing the investigation have said that they haven't released the names of donors, only the organizers. Well, they said influencers, but that word has different meaning to people who use social media, so organizers. Speaking of bad leadership, hi Jason Kenney, I haven't talked about you, and I've only briefly mentioned Alberta because I wasn't near any of the border blockades in that province, and anyways, I hope all of your constituents know that your party wrote to the feds for help that you claimed you didn't need, and sure, you didn't write the letter yourself, but if you're gonna lead your party, you're either responsible for the things your party does, or you're an ineffectual leader, and you should be voted out. You know, it's an incredible amount of gaslighting that I have dealt with over the last 3 weeks over stuff like this. Like, I've cut off so many condescending people that I used to respect because I think I'm being dramatic or I'm somehow against protesting or the working class. Like, I have seen protests. I have attended protests. But when you have grievances against the government, you bring it to the government. You don't bring it to the people. There's no way of bringing grievances to the people that isn't also communicating that you have grievances with the people, and that will cause the people to then have grievances against you. And you know, I am working class. I'd come all the way across the country because the also working class person my mother-in-law relies on didn't feel safe crossing streets full of piss, manure, and screaming racists and gas fumes. I had to do my job while simultaneously coordinating with her about various medical issues. Like, that's just the stuff that Lucy could check remotely. Like, if my mother-in-law has slipped and fallen, I don't know how to set a bone properly. If I've had a stroke, all I could do is call an ambulance. Past people hurling rocks and racial slurs at us, if they let us through at all. I mean, you know, endangering an elderly lady's life is not fighting for freedom. It's threatening her life. It's extortion. So I'll tell you what, if you confront the men who sexually harassed me into being afraid to step foot outside this building, you can come back, fine, but you won't. I'm not going to respect anyone who wouldn't be able to handle 3 days in the position that I was. Forget 3 weeks. You know, people of the city and I are all terrified that they're going to be back for good reason. The food trucks Klan is camped outside the city for now, but they keep saying they'll be back, and I don't trust the city to deal with them anymore. Like I said before, these playgrounds are only part of the emergency. Trudeau's not wrong when he says that the existing laws and bylaws are enough to keep people safe, but what he's missing is that has always been the case. The act was invoked to begin with because these laws and bylaws weren't being enforced. That's the real emergency. The people who dropped the ball there haven't really gone anywhere. According to the Give, Send, Go hacks, which I'm not gonna post here because it's doxing, so this just looks really silly. Some of the donors were Ottawa police, which I thought their contribution was their effort, or lack thereof. You know, I hope the inquiry that follows the act will end with these useless freeloaders being kicked out. Trudeau's at least shown some teeth when it comes to this, and I hope that pattern continues. Oh God, we'll see what happens this weekend. I'll make a final video here on Sunday about the outcome and whatever happens to Rat King on Friday. Then it'll be time for me to fly home, so I won't have to deal with it, and I wish you guys didn't have to either. Anyways, Ottawa, and I keep saying this and it keeps not being true, but it was an honor fighting the Battle of Billings Bridge with you. Stay boring, Ottawa. And why was the android tired when he came home from work? He had a hard drive. Bye-bye.